Howdy, it's Jim Arado. We are driving through Indiana at the moment, kind of zigzagging Indiana and Ohio a little bit on our way to Grand Rapids, Michigan. And on this trip, I realized if we we could avoid some of the bigger cities and take a little bit more of a scenic route and hit some really nice little towns, especially through Indiana. And at this moment, we are driving through Richmond, Indiana. And I did not realize just how rich and how much pop that Richmond, Indiana had until we drove through it. And this is just a town that this town right now is at the very top of my I was just there but I want to get back list. I was looking at Wikipedia, I was Googling around, and this town, Richmond, Indiana, just has a ton of stuff going for it. And I mean, you could tell as we drove through that it was just a really neat little town. But it's got a ton of pop. And on this particular day, we were in a bit of a hurry. You know, we got up early. Our goal was to get up to Michigan as quickly as we could. We were seeing my wife's aunt and uncle. So we really didn't plan for any stops or to really see anything. You know, as we drove through some of these great little Indiana towns, I made notes. You know, note to self, get back here as soon as you can. And Richmond, Indiana, especially, just, you could just look around and tell there was a whole lot more going for it. And I know at one point we even passed a sign, this way to historic downtown Richmond. And we did not, we didn't even have time to go do that. So I know there's just a ton going on in this town that we weren't even able to get to. I did realize, though, I kind of Googled around before our trip, and I realized this town had a few interesting looking coffee shops. So we kind of planned this to be just a brief stop to get coffee, and we decided to stop at a place called 5th Street Coffee and Bagels in Richmond, Indiana. So we do stop there here in a little bit, and it's definitely a nice little place. It'll be coming up here shortly, but I do want to mention them. But the thing I wanted to stress most of all as we're driving, getting into Richmond, is that this is just a really cool town, and I'm excited about getting back there again. And I promise I'll talk more about this town at a later date because I'm just itching to get back. Again, especially as I'm reading about it on Wikipedia, there's just a whole lot of history there, a lot going on, and the town gets a lot of recognition for several cool little things. But yeah, anyway, we're driving right now. I had programmed in our Garmin to get to that 5th Street Coffee and Bagels, and we're driving up to it here shortly. And just going in there, you could tell that the town it's got a cool coffee and bagel place for sure. And you'll see it here in a moment. But we pulled in, and it was right beside a high school. And even as we went into the little restaurant coffee place, there were a lot of, you could tell, high school kids. It had a lot of the kids obviously go there before classes. And we got there right at that time of the morning where, yeah, they were showing up to get their coffee and their bagels. Anyway, but yeah, it's right beside a local high school. And yeah, we're passing that high school right there. You probably had some people out there making sure people weren't speeding too much as they went through, and we're passing the coffee shop on the right, getting ready to park. End up parking right up here. But this was, a very spacious coffee shop. They had a whole lot of room. Obviously, if you wanted to have a meeting or something there, they had plenty of room for it. And it was just a clean, classy little coffee shop. And we were glad we got to go in and enjoy it as we were driving up to Michigan. This was a great stop. And by the way, if you're traveling from central Kentucky, really any part of Kentucky, up to Michigan, look at rerouting a little bit. Maybe avoid the bigger roads. There's a whole lot of fun parts of America to see. Yeah. So anyway, we went inside the coffee shop, and they had just a ton of cool things to look at. Yeah, this was just right in the coffee shop. And they had a cute little sign with a cute little Snoopy drawing. This was early November, so they still had, pumpkins were still a big thing, which, I kind of associate pumpkins, pumpkin lattes, pumpkin flavors with coffee shops, which is kind of cool. But I like the little Snoopy drawing. I like that little sign. And they had, they had a ton of bagels. In fact, we bought 4 bagels, and when they handed me the bag, I thought they'd overfilled it. Their bagels are huge. In fact, we would share about half a bagel for breakfast over the next couple of days as we traveled. The bagels were just huge, and they lasted well. Here's kind of a little side area up there. Kind of in the background is where you order, and then we went back here. There was a little bathroom back here. Plenty of seating, just a ton of seating. You don't really see it here because there's several rooms kind of that break off. But this was, check that out. I don't think that was reserved or anything. I assume people could go back there and sit if they wanted to. So they, if you're concerned about social distancing and, or having some privacy or something like that, I mean, this place had plenty of room. And their tables were cute. They had these cute little ornaments and all on the tables. Just very decorative, very festive. I know the young lady took our order, got us our bag of bagels. I ordered a really good latte, and she knocked it all out. The place was, there were 2 young girls kind of running the show, and they had a good hustle to them. They had good attitude, obviously a good work ethic. Even, mostly, a lot of younger people were there at the coffee shop with us, and they were all just very pleasant. And it made me think, this is just a town of good people, as most little Indiana towns are. So anyway, back to the town of Richmond, Indiana. I was reading on Wikipedia, and let me try to find that again. They had there was an explosion in Richmond, Indiana in 1968. There was a looks like a gas leak, and then there was an explosion, and that kind of triggered a sporting let's see. That gas leak kind of caused another explosion, I believe, at a sporting goods place. 41 people, 41 people were killed. Again, that was in 1968. Kind of a crazy story, and I'm like, why haven't I heard about this? Why didn't this get more attention? I wasn't around at the time, but this is just one of those things. Like, wouldn't you know about this? And as I scroll down on the Wikipedia article, there were riots going on at that time because of the assassination of Martin Luther King, which happened 2 days before this explosion. And that news story, especially on a national level, that news story overshadowed what had just happened in Richmond. Just some kind of crazy stuff. And then also, as I'm reading on Wikipedia, lots of famous people are from this area. Kind of a diverse group too. Sports, arts, that kind of stuff. Several points of interest in town that make me kind of go, oh, I want to get back there just for that. There are 4 colleges and I believe 2 seminaries in Richmond, which is kind of a big deal to me. And the town's been around for a while, and it's famous for its well-preserved architecture. I believe the county that it's part of, there's a population, let's see, of 36,000 plus. So this is kind of a significant city, and I wish I had known more about it before we pass through. Again, I wouldn't have had time to do too much. Yeah, this is, yeah. Look at these buildings on the left and right. Look at the artwork. This is just a neat little town. And like I said, I'm looking forward to getting back there as soon as I can. Yeah, and I was also reading on Wikipedia. It looks like there's a couple of museums that each have an Egyptian mummy here. And that's, it definitely makes me want to visit their museums, to be honest. And also there's, looks like there's a strong Quaker connection. Just a lot going on with this place. And as we drive around, yeah, I'm fascinated with the buildings as I look around. And as we're kind of driving away now, probably kind of going out of the town. Yeah, this town is just interesting all the way around.